Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane. One thing that we try to deliver is a conversation that is calm and not too fascinating so that you can just sort of drift off. Thank you for joining us. We hope you will listen and sleep. I'm your host, Marco Timpano. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Listen and Sleep. I have the distinct pleasure of having in the studio today a dear friend, someone I've known and worked with and had so much fun with, Katerina Taxia. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Marco. It's lovely to be here. Quite an honor.
Thank you. Katerina, one thing that holds a special place in my heart with regards to you is you always think of me when a project comes up that's right for me, and you always reference me, and I want to say thank you because it's something that I really, truly admire and honor. Yeah. Well, you just recently did the voice, speaking of voice stuff, for a video game. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Tell me about that.
So the video game is called Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And so I did various voices, but one of the main ones is Antonia. In Greek, it's Antonia.
Because you're Greek.
Yes.
And this particular video game, does it take place in Greek or has Greek characters?
It takes place in Greece. It has Greek characters, so they wanted authentic Greek accents. So it was a great opportunity for a lot of, Greek actors, ethnic actors to be able to do something like this. And I saw the trailer and it just looked unbelievable.
Oh, I'm so excited. I want to say as well, it's so nice that in this particular case they decided to use actors who are Greek and could speak Greek, because a lot of times these roles might not necessarily go to people who have that sort of ability.
Yes, yes, agreed.
And let me ask you this. You've been to Greece.
I have.
What is one thing that really stands out or warms your heart about the Greece that you've experienced?
I've been to Greece several times from a young age, but I didn't really get it till maybe almost 10 years ago, I think it was, that it was kind of like an aha moment.
Right.
I remember driving, and as far as the eye could see, all you would see is water, mountain,
right,
sky. And I just thought, wow, I get it now.
One thing that I remember that struck me when I was in Greece was how blue the sky was against the blue water and then the white buildings. There was just this color that you hadn't seen that vivid before.
Yeah, it's just there's an energy there too. It has such a distinct energy. It's like when you go to New York has its energy.
Yes.
And then, you go to Europe, you go to Greece, and it's just, very simple.
Yes.
I think, the cobblestone streets, and it's just such a simple way of living.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about spas and how much you and I both enjoy spas. What do you look for in a spa?
I look for cleanliness.
Okay.
Atmosphere.
Is there a service or a treatment that you enjoy?
I do love massages.
Okay.
But a lot of times when I go to spas, I do want a facial.
Okay. What makes a good facial?
So here's what makes a good facial.
Okay.
So it's a facial, you're working on my face.
Sure.
And then you're going to put the mask on. But then don't leave me.
Right, because you can't see anything.
Well, I can't see anything, but it's also, I know it's the face, but I had a facial at, can I say where?
Sure.
At St. Anne's Spa.
Okay.
And so as she did the mask, instead of leaving, she was massaging my forearms and my hands, and then massaging my feet while the mask was, settling and setting in. So I thought, wow, Like, that's wonderful. So it's from the moment I get there till the moment I leave, she doesn't leave me alone, which is great.
Yeah.
I had another one, actually, a great facial, and this one was all about different fragrances as well.
So there was like an aromatherapy aspect to it?
There was an aromatherapy aspect, which, when you're so relaxed and you're sitting back and your eyes are closed, and then, they're trying, one scent here, and it just adds to the experience.
Sure.
And I think that was with Avita Spa.
Okay.
And I just absolutely love that one too. I found it so relaxing.
Mm-hmm. So for you, when you're getting a facial, you don't want it just to end there. It shouldn't just be about, here, I'm going to put some product on your face and an eye mask on, and now you're going to sit. But instead, for you, it's like the whole experience. While my face is receiving the treatment, I want to have an experiential treatment, whether it be a massage or whether I'm smelling different aromas and whatnot.
I feel like it's almost like a meditative thing that I want, like, my mind, body, and soul all involved and all taken care of, because, I can go and have a facial and that's external.
Sure.
But if from the inside, if I'm not relaxed and calm, then, what good is a facial going to do?
Fair enough.
I'm just going to add to the wrinkles, and I'm trying to...
the stress and whatnot. Yeah, sure.
So I feel like it is such a full experience, and it's, not everybody does it that way.
Fair. For the record, you have no visible wrinkles that I can see. So I just wanted to make that.
Thank you very much.
Not that it's about wrinkles, but I just wanted to make that clear. I wanted to also, I had an experience once. I was getting a massage, so it was a full body massage. And I like massages, but they're not necessarily my thing. Mm-hmm. But this one person was giving me a massage, and all of a sudden, I went to outer space. I had like this experience that was just bizarre. Like, I could see colors and flowers were like appearing. It was like I was having like a weird sort of hallucination. Mm-hmm. Has that ever happened to you?
I know that I've had a great massage. Not necessarily do I need to fall asleep.
Sure.
But, the mind is so powerful.
Yeah.
And I've caught myself sometimes where I don't want to be thinking about anything, and I'm just kind of focusing on the breath. Right. In, out, let it go. And so a great massage is something that I'm not even worried about that. And at the end of it, I feel like a zombie.
Right.
And if you're going to spend the money,
yes,
and put in the time for a massage,
right,
when you're done at that massage place,
I want to know this. Okay.
That's not the end of that experience. So if you want to fully, self-care,
sure,
and experience the whole massage experience, mm-hmm, is when you go home, it doesn't have to be a hot bath, but, close, medium hot bath, add some Epsom salts.
Okay.
If you have some lavender oil, a couple drops, because then you soak in the bath. The
right.
Epsom salts help to also, so the massage has kind of been massaging all the toxins.
Right.
Now you go in the bath and you soak 15 minutes. Another little tip is,
I like this,
if you drain it while you're in it, and so you're lying there.
What? Wait a second. Yeah. Now I gotta, okay, this sounds different to me, so I really need it. So I've soaked for 15 minutes. I've got Epsom salts in the bath.
Yes.
I've released the toxins that have been massaged out of me. And now I'm ready to exit the bath. But before I exit the bath, remove the plug, the stopper.
Yes, and you're still lying there.
Okay.
So whatever you were holding on to.
Yes.
So she's worked on, or he worked on the toxins. But, have you let go? And have you cleared your mind? And I feel like for me it's a way of, I'm lying there, now I'm draining the water, and whatever I want to let go, whatever doesn't serve me, is going down the drain.
So you visualize sort of any of that sort of tension, stress, negativity, just going down the drain. Oh, I love that. Mm-hmm. I'm also going to say to our listeners, I want you to do that too with this episode. So by the time we get to the end, anything that's been troubling you, any stress, any toxins, just leave as our ending music goes. It just leaves with the ending music. I love that. It's almost meditative, what you're saying. Are you a fan of meditation?
I am. I've meditated for years, and
I didn't know that about you.
yes. So
I've known you for years. That's why I'm saying I didn't know that.
yeah, I don't think I did a lot then
Okay.
when we were working together. But I found, you're multitasking and
Sure.
you're running here and you're running there. And my answer was always, I don't have time to meditate.
Right.
And so if a person says they don't have time to meditate, that person absolutely needs to meditate.
Oh, I love it.
You need to be able, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and over the years, because I've done some research, I'm like, is there a right way to meditate? And, am I doing it wrong? And, I'm trying to control my thoughts.
Sure.
I give credit to people who, if you can even just sit there for 5 minutes and just focus on your breath. And if those thoughts come, they come.
Sure.
But I just find as a society, we lack awareness.
Right.
And for me, meditating has helped me to not only gain a greater awareness of other people, but of myself. And so, yeah, I really do believe in self-care.
Great.
I think people sometimes are like, everybody has to work and you're running around, but you need to take that time for self-care, because if you don't have that self-care for yourself, then how are you going to care for other people?
I love that.
So even the bath, like even if you don't do a massage and you do a bath.
Just a regular bath.
Just a yeah.
Because you said you're someone who enjoys taking baths, much like my wife Amanda.
Yes, I love baths. Showers, I don't know.
Right. I love showers, by the way. But anyways, so for you, what is something that you do, a ritual or whatnot, or even just like when you draw a bath, what's important to you?
Quiet.
Okay.
Which sometimes doesn't happen.
Sure.
But meditation helps with that. Not always.
Fair.
There's been times where I could hear, the family, and I'm
making noise.
I'll have a candle.
Do you play music or do you?
I do play music.
Okay.
It depends. Sometimes I do like just relaxation, spa music.
Sure.
Other times I like guided meditation.
Oh, so you do that while you're taking a bath?
Always,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
See, spa music doesn't work for me, so that's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Guided meditation in the bath, maybe. I'd be worried I'd slip in under the water.
That's if you fall asleep very easily, but
I don't.
yeah. So I don't. The thing is, when you're so busy, sometimes that's where I get the meditation in. And I'm thinking,
Really?
well, you don't necessarily have to be sitting, with your legs crossed and, your
That
fingers.
image that a lot of people
That image
have.
of the Buddha.
Right,
I think
or chakras and all of those colors.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be
no,
that.
you could lie in your bed if, because some people have neck issues, back issues.
Sure.
If you need to lie on the side with a pillow between your legs. I mean, whatever, as long as you're taking some time for yourself.
Right.
So I don't think there's a right way. I mean, I've gone to like meditation classes where they're making me sit so rigid, and I'm like, there's no wall. Like, I want to rest.
Right.
So I think you have to listen to your body.
I love that. There's something that you said that struck me, and that is, when you meet someone or someone, and there's something about them that you don't particularly like, someone once told me it's actually an attribute that you don't like in yourself that you're seeing in someone. And when you see that, you realize, it's actually more about me than it is about them. And I tried to pay attention to that. And a couple times I realized, actually, that person who's bossy and commanding and whatnot is actually something that I do. And I realized I don't like it in that person. So there's a good chance that people don't like it in me. So I've tried to really pay attention to that.
I think like it's so fantastic that you're aware of that. And I mean, nobody's perfect.
Sure.
And I don't believe like we're human beings. I believe we're humans evolving.
Okay.
Always. And if you start to build that awareness and make those adjustments and, try to do better, I mean, that's really all you can ask.
Sure.
I mean, I'm guilty of, when I meet someone, I'm not shy. I'm very gregarious.
Yeah, it's really funny, Katerina, because you're talking about baths and meditating and whatnot, and the Katerina I know is gregarious. She's loud. She's funny. Like one of the funniest people you'll ever meet is the person who's sitting opposite me right now.
Yeah.
And you're talking about all these calm things, and that's not necessarily who, if I think of you, I don't necessarily think that. Although I know that you're a spiritual person and you're someone who does. In fact, I think you sent me an email once about a meditation thing that I do every once in a while.
Really?
I'll talk to you about it
Yes,
after the
okay.
show. But so it's funny. It's like this two-sided person. But you were saying, sorry.
Oh, no, I was saying, well, I guess sometimes, that saying, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily true. But I think the fact that I am gregarious, I'm not shy. I can be shy in certain situations. I
Everyone
think everybody can, right? But I think just the awareness and the mindset and just meditating has allowed me to, gain more confidence as a person,
Sure.
Be comfortable with who I am. So sometimes when I meet people and they're not very talkative, my first reaction is, they're snooty, or
Right.
and I have to kind of take 2 steps back and remind myself, well, not everybody's a big mouth like you.
Sure.
And, gregarious. There are people who are shy, and it's just, it doesn't come as easy to them. Because once I start to have a conversation with them, I'm like, oh my goodness, this person is so nice. And then I feel terrible that,
Sure.
I judge them. So, but, I guess that comes with
Maturity
and
self-awareness.
self-awareness.
Amanda always says this, sometimes it's not as important to be interesting when you meet someone as it is to be interested. Yeah.
Well, when we were doing the show.
So Katerina and I met doing a interactive, improvised play, and we did it for quite some years.
Right. And, so we're doing, 5 shows a week?
More, because we would do
2 on Saturday.
2 on Saturday.
And so we're that character for 3 hours. So we've done, we've shown up, we're getting into character, we are that character for 3 hours, and then we'd all go and hang out after. And my husband would say, you guys just did a show for 3 hours, and all you're doing is talking about the show.
Right.
And, there's other things to talk about. And so that thing that Amanda said is so true, because I would watch my husband, and he would have great conversations with people. And I would say to him, how do you have such great conversations? And he would say, I just ask questions.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow. And I mean, in fairness to us actors,
Sure.
we're selling a product.
Of course.
And we tend to be a little self-absorbed.
Sure.
But I do think with maturity that the more interested you are in people and other things really adds to your craft as an actor.
Yes. In fact, it's one of the key things, because some people can get so insular in, trying to experience the life of characters that they don't live their own life. And only if you live a robust life and do things can you add that to characters, in my opinion.
Well, when I became a mother, that's when I really understood what loss was.
Wow.
Because, I have this little being now. So my emotional life just grew exponentially. It was huge. And not only, do they keep me grounded, but what they have added to my life, all that goes back into my work.
Oh, isn't that fascinating?
I'm sure, you look at things that you did, 20 years ago, and you're like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, sure.
So
I think we all do that, yeah.
So I think it's just life experience that does add to that.
Of course. Of course. And did one of your daughters record the video with you too? Are
She
you allowed
did.
to say that?
Yes.
What was the experience like for her?
It was great because when they were asked to audition, the little one was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to do it," and the older one was like, "Oh, I don't know." And then I said to the little one, you have to do a Greek accent. So she was kind of hesitant, and I said, "It's okay, I'll help you." And yeah, she had a great audition.
Right.
And she's worked on it like 4 or 5 times already, but just loves it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just loves it.
I'll have to get her in the voice booth. It sounds like she's
She'd be great.
like mother, like daughter.
Yeah, you think you'd be talking to an old soul with her.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, your husband George is like that. Well, I want to send a special shout out to George because I've known him for years as well. He's got a very sort of, he is the type of person who would be interested in what you have to say, and that makes him interesting. I always find George far more fascinating than you.
Oh, no, I know that. And because we haven't seen each other in a while, that what I miss about the two of you together, it was like the battles of Italy
and Greece.
And Greece.
Because I would always tease. I have a brother-in-law, I tease him too about it too.
But it's wonderful
He's
because,
great as well, yeah.
You can have a debate and have a difference of opinion, and then that's all it is.
Yeah.
And then it's not so serious.
No.
But I used to get such a kick out of it when you guys would go at it. Like, I'd turn, I'm like, oh, there they go again.
Yeah. It's fun. George is one of my favorite people to debate anything with, and he's got a great smile and a great laugh. So it's like at the end of the debate, at the end of the argument, just to have that moment where George and I clink beer glasses or whatever, or beer bottles. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, our debates don't quite end like that.
No, but we're very aligned, you and I. We don't really, if anything. I remember one time you and I went to a after party at TIFF, which stands for the Toronto International Film Festival. And there was some big wig guy there. I don't know if you remember with the glasses. I won't mention his name.
Okay.
And you're like, he looks familiar to me. I'm like, yeah, he's this guy. He hosts a show or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, let's go talk to him. I'm like, really? And you're like, yeah, let's take the stuffing out of him. And so we went over, and you were just like, hey, you, blah blah blah. Do you know who I am? And it was just so much fun. You just like, you took the whole room by storm, and I'll never forget that. Do you remember that?
I'm trying to remember, and I know you don't want to say his name. You write down his name.
He was a film critic, and he had his own show, and he wore glasses. Clearly, you don't care. So that's the fun part of it. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. Like, do you remember going to those after parties at the film festival and whatnot? So much fun. Katerina and I did a show for many years. And you would have to put on wedding. It was called Tony and Tina's Wedding. I should mention it because I'm sure.
One of the best times of my life.
And you would have to put a wedding dress on every
night
day,
after night.
night after night. What was it like getting married every night in a show for many years?
I think it was more like weird for my husband because I was a newlywed. I was married a year. And so I remember one of my first shows, and he was there.
Because you would have to get married. Like, there was the ceremony, and then we had the reception after. That's the point of if you haven't seen Tony and Tina's Wedding. So he was there. Yeah,
he was there, and the first thing he said to me, he's like, wow. He goes, I never thought I'd see you in another wedding dress.
Right.
So, I think it wasn't so much the wedding dress.
Right.
Because I had to do that kiss at the beginning.
Right, of course.
That I was like, oh. Like, it's different when you're doing a kiss on film.
Sure.
It's just, that kind of like, move your chin this way, now go this way. But there it's live. And so it's like, how much of a kiss are we going to do? And you kind of just, feel it.
Sure.
But then after a while, it's like, okay, well, now we got to do the kiss. So, but for me, that was such a magical time.
Yeah.
Because I came in after like a few months and, coming into a cast of how many?
13?
13? I thought we had more than that. No.
Oh, if you count the band, it was more, yeah.
Yeah. So, that was pressure.
Yeah.
And I remember it took me a while, like it took me a few months to really get into her,
right?
Into Tina, because I remember one of the first times I was Tina, and it was the buffet,
sure,
and I'm going around because it's interactive and, treating everyone like they're my guests. And I remember going up to a table and I said, how's the food? And, people were like critical, and I was like a little mouse.
Right.
And I thought, well, Tina's not a
mouse.
Mouse. And so, more research. And then you also were doing the Italian classes, and we had our book, like our whole bio. And I remember it was probably like 2-3 months into Tina when I said, oh yeah, now I'm Tina.
Right.
And I remember going up to a table and I said, thank you for coming.
Sure.
How's your dinner? And they're like, Tina, what is this? A buffet?
Right.
And I remember saying, are you sitting? Are you eating? You know what? I didn't even want to invite you, but my mother made me. And I remember walking away, and the whole table was laughing.
Of course.
And I remember I was like, oh,
that's it.
I'm Tina.
Yeah.
But it's just, all the actors at the time were just so amazing to work with.
We're going to end on this, but I just want to remind you, or see if you remember, you and I did a play. It was one of the worst plays. You played my wife. I played your husband. We were in a play together. And Katerina, I had like 3 monologues, and they said the same thing. And you had 4 lines in it. And I remember saying to the director and the writer, I'm like, can she not have one of these monologues? Because it seems odd that the husband is just doing these, the same monologue all the time.
So old.
It was a terrible play, but I had so much fun with you.
I had so much fun, but I remember you saying to me, because we're Italian, we needed to have Italian accents.
Right.
And you would say to me, you sound Greek. And I knew how bad this play was because, I would go home and I would tell my husband, right, what we would go through.
Yes, of course.
And he came to see it because he always comes out and supports
It's
everything.
one of my favorite things. I'm glad you remember this.
And he was waiting by the car, and he wasn't even waiting inside for me. I knew that was a bad sign right there. So I walk up to him, and I said, what'd you think? And he looked at me, didn't miss a beat, and he said, get in the car. And I'm sure you heard all about it on the ride home, right? Oh, my goodness. I loved it. That's one of my favorite stories. Katerina, thank you so much. Thank you.
I've had a great time with you here. I hope to do another podcast with you.
Yes, I'd love to.
And big shout out to your family. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
As always, the Insomnia Project is produced by Drumcast Productions, and this particular episode was recorded in our home studio in Toronto, Canada. Until the next time.